C'est que j'écris en Swiss Talks, held by Swiss Center for Humanitarian Dialogue and updates on Ambazonia recent events. Please listen to this and do not forget to share this after watching. Please listen. Watch.
Yes, the first name that I set my eyes on here, Daddy Dudu, says share and share. Of course, absolutely. Let's break the records today. Okay. Is it Kiwa Kwakwa Pekin? Okay. Thank you, Kwakwa Pekin for joining. Pierre Bryan, yes. Otiti Justice, I see you. Mercy, enjoy. We love you, Secretary Chris, for the great job. Thank you, ma'am. All right. I also see Emmanuel Isombe. Imbo, somebody, I missed that name. Rashe Mani, good to see you, ma'am. Quishi Indy. All right. I see also Brown Dick. See also Mandolin Bayer. Nika Wamba. Ladies and gentlemen, I will come back to this, but please go ahead. Let us quickly populate this platform so I can bring to you these very, very important updates that I bring to the broadcast today. Please go ahead, hit your share button. We have quite a number of things to discuss today, quite a number of news updates to bring to you today. So please, you go ahead and do that. The moment we hit the regular 700, I will come to you with the broadcast proper. In the meantime, I just want to remind every one of you about ABC Amber Club. We still haven't hit the 2,000 numbers, not yet, ladies and gentlemen. And so I'm pleading with you, for those of you who have not yet registered. It's only $5 a month. Only $5 a month. That's the least you can do. You can do $100, $50, $20, $10, down to $5. It is not much. Please, if you haven't registered yet, please log in to the website abcambertv.org or .com and register to support ABC Amber Television. So please let us do so. And remember also, the CID campaign is still ongoing. And I like to add this all the time that I talk about the CID. The moment is coming, the time is coming that every Ambazonian in the diaspora would have to present evidence that they paid their independence due. Because the moment is coming. I was watching those traditional dances that I brought to you before my coming on live. And I was just imagining of that day when we get to ground zero in Boya in particular, and in our various local government areas, counties, and we are celebrating our new country, our independence. How glorious, how wonderful it shall be seeing these parents, these women, these men, and these young men play some of these traditional dances before us. But again, the point is that some people who are not supporting the revolution may have to pay dearly, very, very dearly, to get on ground zero to partake in events such as the former inauguration of a new country called Ambazonia. So please, I am encouraging every one of you out there, especially if you have a job, be it in Europe, in USA, in Canada, wherever that you are. Ladies and gentlemen, I have people down on ground zero and ground one calling to enroll in the CID payments and ABC Amber Club. I have a lady yesterday who called from ground one, precisely from Port Harcourt, who is a refugee. And she says, Secretary Chris, please, I have been trying to register to pay my dues and my ABC Club dues to no avail. Can you help me? Can you help me to pay? This is a lady, ladies and gentlemen, with nine adopted children in her home, a refugee in Port Harcourt with nine adopted children plus her own, I think 3 or 4 children. Yet she sees the need. She sees the need to want to contribute, donate on a regular basis, monthly basis. She said to me, I want you, if you can register me so that every month they just take out something from my bank, from my card. And I said, wonderful. I couldn't say no. I couldn't say that you are a refugee or you are a refugee. No, I didn't want to discourage her. I tried. Unfortunately, the debit card that they use in Nigeria, some of them are not Visa nor Master. So the system rejected her payment. But she was very, very desperate to pay. And after she couldn't register, she asked me, what else can she do? Can I do to register? And I said, if the system cannot take your card, there is nothing that we can do. Maybe you go and register a PayPal account, because I know PayPal works in Nigeria. And so I don't know, she was calling me while I was coming up here. I don't know whether she succeeded to register a PayPal account. But that is how, ladies and gentlemen, some people on ground zero, in fact, I have had people call me also from Gabon, trying, who want to register for their independence due. Ladies and gentlemen, if people on ground one can go this far to sacrifice, in spite of their pain on ground zero, to sacrifice to want to pay these dues, how much more of you in the diaspora with a regular job, with a paycheck coming into your home every day? The CID dues are just $10. The minimum is $10 a month. The minimum is $10 a month. We have no excuse, those of us in the diaspora who are not enrolled or registered in the CID payments. I said before that the moment we come, that many people in the diaspora would have to give account as to whether they were supporting this revolution, and the only way we do that is through the CID. The interim government is working on a platform on some documentation through which we are able to tell who paid the dues and who did not pay the dues. In other words, when you travel home, especially during Christmas and New Year like this one, a system is being put together to identify, or for those who pay the dues to be able to identify themselves, especially when they go down on ground zero. And when that system comes into place, I can assure you, no diaspora will go on ground zero, conduct a wedding, conduct a funeral ceremony, conduct any kind of official or outdoor ceremony, public ceremony, or do any form of construction or buy any form of property without the evidence that they supported this independent struggle. So please do not think that for the moment you are free, or the moment will come you will you will render your stewardship as far as this struggle is concerned. So please, I am pleading with you again. The website is www.cid.ambacitizens.com. Again, it is www.cid.ambacitizens.com. And of course, the ABC site is abcambatv.com or .org. Again, abcambatv.com or .org. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you have given me over 700 already. So please go ahead, keep on hitting your share button. As you can find on the title on your screen. I am talking about today the allegations that the Swiss NGO, Humanitarian Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, and the Swiss government are abandoning the Swiss mediation initiative. That is the subject I shall be coming to. But before I will get there, there is a very, very important breaking story that we will need to talk about first. And it is about a plot that has been cooking in the Washington, D.C. metro, precisely at the U.S. Congress, to force a federal agenda on the people of Ambazonia. And ladies and gentlemen, that agenda is being cooked right there in the offices of the congresswoman called Karen Bass. And so that is the information I like to bring to you first. And it is very, very, very important. It is an action item that I will love every Ambazonian listening to the sound of my voice to take action once you grab this piece of news. This is what is going on, fellow Ambazonians. When Congress Lady Karen Bass led a delegation to La République du Cameroon a few months ago, she traveled with two ladies. In a delegation were two ladies. Now this is one of the ladies. You can find the names of these ladies on your screen. She traveled with Naomi Sachs and Janet Yaroude. I don't know whether I got the pronunciation right, but the names are there on your screen. When Karen Bass and the congressional delegation traveled to Cameroon, La République du Cameroon, a few months ago, she was accompanied by her congressional staff in the name of Janet Yaroude. Now, why in La République du Cameroon? Janet Yaroude, ladies and gentlemen, was handed with a flash drive, carrying footages, video footages, and pictures of killings in Ambazonia. The flash drive was handed to Ms. Janet Yaroude by French Cameroon officials from the Prime Minister's office in Yaoundé. Now, she was told, we are not aware right now, but as of now, whether Ms. Karen Bass was aware of this particular incident. But she was told, when she was given the flash drive with the footages and the images, Mrs. Janet Yaroude was informed these are the atrocities that Amba boys, as they call it, are committing in Ambazonia and putting it on the French Cameroon army. That was what was told them. Now, since returning from Cameroon, now you will recall House Resolution 358, in which was championed by Congress Lady Karen Bass. Now, House Resolution 358 essentially was recommending federation for French Cameroon, for Cameroon. And it actually, if you realize, I don't know if you read it, the dialogue, so-called Grand National Dialogue that took place in Cameroon a few weeks ago, was as a recommendation coming from that resolution 358. After issuing that resolution, it ended in the Senate. It has not gone anywhere. It is still in the Senate. Right now, as we speak, there is another resolution, a federal resolution that is being drafted in the office, in the congressional office of Karen Bass. Now, the people behind this draft, this bill, which is being drafted in Karen Bass' office, are these two ladies whose names you find on your screen. Miss Jenny Yarohude and Naomi Sachs. These are the two people behind the federal bill that is being drafted in the office of Karen Bass. Now, this is what is going on. These two staffers of Karen Bass are a liaison. They were put there to be a liaison between Ambazonia and Congress and Karen Bass's office. But what is going on, ladies and gentlemen, is that these two ladies have barred Ambazonian leaders and activists from making any input into any resolutions that they plan in that office. And the unfortunate thing is that Miss Bass, Karen Bass, is not aware of what is going on. These two ladies, they sit behind, consult with a group that is called Cameroon American Council. Now, the Cameroon American Council is based in Washington, D.C. It is a group led by Francophones. I've forgotten the name of the lady who is actually the leader of the group. So, instead of consulting with Ambazonian leaders to get their input into any document that they draft, these two ladies, Miss Janet Yarohude and Naomi Sachs, they have turned to the Cameroon American Council, which is a Francophone organization in the Washington, D.C. area. And of course, the Bass group, they call it them anti-Sardinal or something like that. These are the people that the office of Miss Karen Bass are consulting, which is why in every document that they have written, if you read all the documents, House B5, House B358, it is slanted to favor French Cameroon and the regime in French Cameroon. Now, the new bill that is being also drafted is drafted to enforce, to force, to push a federal Cameroon over Ambazonians. And the worst thing is that Ambazonians leaders, oh, not just forget about leaders, Ambazonians are not being consulted because of those two ladies that you find on your screen. Again, the unfortunate thing is that Miss Karen Bass has no idea about what is going on in his office. These two ladies whose names you have on your screen, they are working with French Cameroon lobbies in Washington, D.C. and in New York. And they are working with French Cameroon organizations like the Cameroon American Council and the Bass Anti-Sardinal Movement. These are the people. These two ladies are consulting. Now, to add to the injuries, they have closed their doors to any Ambazonian leaders trying to consult them over this legislation that they are recommending. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is what has to be done. This is what has to be done. Again, this is not the fault of Congress Lady Karen Bass. It is not her fault. What we need to do, however, is to get it to her. Every Ambazonian has to reach to Karen Bass, Congresswoman Karen Bass, reach to her office. Now, I want you to copy those names you have on your screen before I take them off, because I am going to give you the phone number for Karen Bass' office. You will call that office to say, Mrs. Bass or Miss Bass, there are two staffers in your office who pretend to be listening, who tell you they are listening to Ambazonians in the diaspora or Ambazonian leaders, whereas they are not listening to them. You will demand when you call that Miss Janet Yarohude and Naomi Sachs be fired. I hope you got me well. When you call, you will demand that these two ladies be fired because they are deliberately, ladies and gentlemen, closing the doors for consultation. It's not by mistake, because our people, our leaders have been to Miss Karen Barr's office, and these two ladies have blocked and closed every avenue for our leaders to be able to communicate or talk to Miss Karen Barr. The reason being that they are listening to the French lobby, French Cameroon lobby, the Cameroon American Council, which is another French Cameroon lobby, and the Barr's anti-Sardinal movement in the Washington, D.C. area. They have completely closed every door, every avenue to listen to Ambazonian leaders. So you will call Miss Karen Barr's office in Washington, D.C. and you have to do it today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know whether they are closed already for Christmas and New Year holiday, but it is very, very, very important. If you cannot call today, but I really wish that all of us in the USA who still have time can begin to call today to demand, ladies and gentlemen, to demand that these two ladies be fired. They are bribed by the French Cameroon lobby in the USA, and they have been asked to open their ears only to Francophones. Yet it is Ambazonians who are being killed. It is Ambazonians who are being slaughtered. It is Ambazonians' homes that are being destroyed. So when you call, the point of action is that, number one, they be fired from Miss Karen's office. And number two, we should make it very, very clear, vehemently clear to the office of Miss Karen that Ambazonians under no circumstances would allow any form of federation to be declared on us. When America fought its war of independence, fellow Ambazonians, no country, nobody suggested to them, nobody wrote a bill on their behalf, nobody crafted a legislation on their behalf asking that they remain a federation under England. The final say for this revolution, for this struggle, is with us, Ambazonians. But we must do our part. We must do what we have to do to make sure we grab our future and not allow lobbyists and fraudulent people like Miss Janet Yaruhude and Naomi Sachs to defraud us, to defraud us, rob us of what belongs to us. So please, we are asking every Ambazonian in the USA, call now. Call now, and I will give you the number. I hope you have written down those names. I will give you the number that you have to call. When you call again, you know the message. You know the message that you have to call. Now you have the number on your screen. You have the number on your screen. That is Miss Karen Barr's number. And if you can also reach her by way of Twitter, that is good. But I can assure you, most often, some of those people don't have the time to read all their Twitter messages. But if you can jam their offices with phone calls, as we did last time over Resolution 358, I can assure you, they will listen to you and they will listen to us. And we would have skewed that bill that is being written in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we must do. Again, if you live in the USA, please call that number today and demand for two things. Number one, Jene Yaruhude and Naomi Sachs should be fired from the office of Miss Karen Barr. Miss Karen Barr is not aware of what they are doing. Is not aware they have been bribed by French Cameroon lobby in Washington, D.C. We need to take that message to Miss Karen Barr to fire them. Number two, we also have to make it very, very clear to the office of Ms. Karen Bass that Ambazonians will not accept any imposed federal structure on us. We want our own country. Nothing short of that will satisfy us. Again, America, nobody drafted a Bill of Rights for Americans other than the Americans themselves. We will have to decide our form of state, and not somebody, not any country, not any institution drafting that for us. So please, let us do that. Go ahead, call that number, and get to the office of Miss Karen Bass today. And if you can't do it today, also remember, for those in California, unfortunately, I don't have the California office number of Miss Karen Bass. But you can search, you can go online and search for that office number. Just go online, Google, or search Karen Bass, K-A-R-E-N, Bass, B-A-S-S. That is her number. Go online, search for her name, for her office in California, using that name, and also you can call her California office. Those of you Ambazonians in Los Angeles, please, we're asking you, book an appointment to meet with Miss Karen Bass. Again, the good thing is that she is not aware of what is going on behind her back in her own office. I am very, very convinced if you can meet her, book appointment to meet her in her office, by the time they return to Washington after the holidays, things will take a different turn. Those of you in California, Ambazonians in California, you have to do this. Take this as a big responsibility. So please, that is the news about our struggle. We have to work day and night, ladies and gentlemen, and do everything that we can. Every one of us. Because La Republic is fighting tooth and nail. La Republic is fighting tooth and nail in the home front, in the foreign front. But thank God, they are failing and failing woefully. They are failing woefully. In the home front, they are not able to beat our restoration forces. In the foreign front, they are not able to beat our diplomacy. We are making great strides out of meager resources. We are beating La Republic of Cameroon to submission, and they have no choice. They will have to sit and negotiate with us face to face. They have no choice, ladies and gentlemen. But we have to put on this pressure. We have to force through this pressure in every front. Diplomacy, home front, we have to push it. And that is why it is always, again, it remains very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Look for your county and your local government. Support those boys who are sacrificing, who have put their lives in the in the forefront at home to fight for this war on your behalf. You need to support your local government and support your county. That is the way. That is what we need to do to keep on pushing La Republic of Cameroon back to the walls. They haven't seen anything yet. They thought that they were going to decimate our restoration forces. By now, they would have realized our restoration forces have graduated from Dane guns, ladies and gentlemen. They have graduated from Dane guns to machine guns. You all saw what happened in the Ekona Moyoka axis yesterday with that Supermont bus and the military armor car that was torn into pieces. And also this morning, I just learned before coming live that again in the BLM, 2 military armor trucks were shattered today. You don't shatter military trucks with Dane guns. No, you shatter them with machine guns. And that is what is being replicated across Ambazonia, from county, from local government to local government, county to county. We are replicating the technology everywhere, and La Republique is hearing from us. I also listened to, I think, a DW, Deutsche Welle radio report today of some French Cameroon soldiers pleading with their government to call for negotiations to end the war. Why? Because they are dying in their numbers. The 2 cubes of sugar have refused to dissolve, ladies and gentlemen, and we must keep this temperature high up. We must keep this temperature high up. So please, if you are a patriot, look for your county. Don't wait for some other person to sponsor and support this war on your behalf, on your family, for you. Please look for your county, support your county, support your local government. I've heard so many reports coming from places like Bui, places like Inkambe, places like Donga Mantung, places like Santa. The boys there don't have your support. And yet these are places with people in the diaspora. These boys have not asked for a single dime for payment, ladies and gentlemen. They're not asking you to pay them. They are putting their lives in the forefront. All they are asking is that give them equipment that they will use in prosecuting this war. Why is $10, $20 so hard for you to give, to secure your own town, your own village, your own county, your own local government? Let us stand up. La Republique is taking the heat, and the heat must continue. The heat must continue. Locate your local government. Let us release Armageddon on them. They thought that they were going to decimate us, crush us in a few days, and then refuse to go sit down in the negotiation table to talk to us. Unfortunately, everything they have done, ladies and gentlemen, has failed, has crumbled like a house of cards right before them. Yesterday we learned that they finally, their parliament, so-called parliaments, passed the so-called special status bill. Another window dressing effort that the international community is telling them you cannot have dialogue on your own among yourselves. It's a one-way dialogue. And they think they can use those empty window dressing efforts to persuade the international community. The international community keeps saying you have not done anything. It's a good step. It's something, but not really what we want. That is what the international community, from the United Nations to the EU, to the AU, to the USA, to Canada, everywhere they are telling them, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting there, and we will get there. All that we ask of you is to stand up and be counted as a supporter, as a sponsor of this struggle. Now I must remind you, this is very, very important because it is an existential war. We did not invite war. We did not call for war. So many of you watching and listening to the sound of my voice, you have families that have been killed by La Republique du Cameroon. You did not invite them. It didn't happen by any fault or crime of your own. Some of you watching, listening to me, your towns and villages have been razed, and yet you did not invite it. You did not call for war. Some of you have lost your family members to this war. Innocent people sitting in their own homes and they are shot to death. You did not invite them. You did not call for war. I have my sister right now in Kondenge for doing nothing. We have our leaders in Kondenge for doing nothing. How can any of you sit still and not do something? Have you ever heard the saying that bad things happen? Bad things happen because good people do nothing. Have you ever heard about that? Bad things happen when good people, they do nothing. If you do nothing, we may all go back to slaves of French Cameroon. But if you do something, add your hands and your money to the current push that we see taking place now, in a short while, we will be in Boya. We will be in Boya. So please, again, I ask you, do not relent. Do not relent. Every one of you, gather your county people, gather your LGA people, and support the restoration forces in your own community. In your own community. In your own community. That is all we need now. That is all we need now. FACO is doing a great job. FACO is doing a great job. There is a reawakening within the forces in FACO. A reawakening, a really reawakening within the forces in FACO. And I believe in the coming days, we are going to be seeing some incredible show of force from the restoration forces in FACO. And I want to use this opportunity to appeal to FACO Ambazonians in particular. You know how important FACO is to this struggle. Now you know that FACO, every one of us Ambazonians, we know FACO is the most important county. The most, whether you like it or not, it's a fact. It's a fact. FACO is the most important county in Ambazonia. In this struggle, that is the seat of French Cameroon powers and principalities. And they will do everything to secure it. Because they know if Boya is gone, we are gone. Bamenda can go. If Boya is not gone, we are not gone. Kumba can go. But if Boya is not gone, we are not gone. Victoria can go. If Boya is not gone, we are not gone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how important FACO Boya is. And so we want to appreciate the reinvigoration in FACO among the restoration forces. And we're asking that every FACO element in the diaspora, please gather yourselves, and support the restoration forces, the reorganize restoration forces in FACO. We saw the work they did yesterday on the French Cameroon terrorist military and on that Supermon boss or bosses. You realize they were not using den guns. They were using machine guns. And that is what is called taking the war to the next level. Taking the war to the next level. Taking the war to the next level. Now I like to say this. We are giving a warning to Supermon. Supermon is a French Cameroon company that operates in our territory. And what we found out, ladies and gentlemen, is that Supermon employs Francophones, not Ambazonian, just as happens in Victoria with Sonora. The overwhelming majority of workers in Supermon are French Cameroonians, not Ambazonians. How did we allow them to? How do we shut down CDC, Sonora, Pamo, and allow Supermon to remain standing and doing business, a French company? Supermon has to go down. What happened yesterday was only the beginning. That factory must shut down. Every worker in that factory has to be Ambazonian. You don't bring in a company and import worker from a foreign territory to come and work in a property. Look at their bosses. Look at the inscription on their bosses. All French French inscription after we have banned anything French in our territory. The restoration forces have the right, the authority to bring down any inscriptions, any signboard in our territory they find written in French, even if it is written in both French and English. Take it down. It is illegal. English is the official language in Ambazonia, ladies and gentlemen. You find any sign in any office, on the highway, anywhere written in the colonial language, pull it down, rush it down. It is in the wrong place. It is in the wrong territory. We must decimate, bring down anything that is French in our territory. This is a war. This is a war. And the French are the one killing us. The French, what they did in Rwanda, they are doing in the southern Cameroons. We must not allow any single French institution to stand or to raise its head in our territory. The time is gone. That moment is gone. Everything French should be brought down. And of course, do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have also stated unequivocally that every French administrator in our territory remains a target. This is war. They do not have the monopoly to kill our people. They do not have the monopoly to kill our people and sit there and lord it over us. Every SDO, every mayor who answers to the CPDM or to the French Cameroon government, every governor who answers to the French Cameroon government does not belong to Ambazonia. Does not belong to Ambazonia. And before I go to the Swiss subject, let me also remind Ground Zero that a few days ago, the French Cameroon published their list of candidates for the February 9 municipal and legislative elections. After they published the list, we have seen some candidates issuing disclaimers that they don't want to stand for the elections anymore. This is what is going on. We have come to learn that in French, according to French Cameroon law, once your name has been announced as one of those standing for the elections, once your name has been announced as qualified as standing for the elections, you cannot withdraw it. You cannot cancel your candidature. So this is what is going on. We should take note of those men who are taking to the radio and announcing, oh, they are resigning from participation from French Cameroon election. They can no longer resign because they have already been qualified, and their law says they cannot step out, they cannot step away. What they are trying to do is play over our intelligence. They make the announcement so that our restoration forces do them nothing, allow them go free. When the election results are announced, if they win, they will rush to Yaoundé. When the election results are announced, should they win, they will rush to Yaoundé. And before you know, they'll become La République du Cameroon citizens and remain over there like Mbandam, Joseph Mbandam and others, Joshua Osi and others. They will remain over there. So this is a message that we are passing to the restoration forces. Keep your eyes on every candidate in that list in Ambazonia. Know where they live, know where they live, track them and know where they are. Watch out when the elections come out. When the election results are published, let's see what they do. Whether they move to La République and assume office, or stay back in Ambazonia and refuse to work for La République du Cameroon. Let's take note of this. We have made it unequivocally clear. This election is a no-go. It's not happening in our territory. We cannot emphasize it enough that these elections will not come to our territory, ladies and gentlemen. These elections will not be accepted in our territory. And every candidate whose name is in that published list will consider them enablers. And in due course, they will have to pay for their enablement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take you to these allegations about the end of the Swiss mediation initiative. Now, before I do that, I'd like you to look at this story here, this little piece here. Take a look at this. A few days ago, most of you must have seen this so-called newspaper article from one magazine. I don't even know, I doubt that magazine doesn't exist as a hard copy. This magazine, it doesn't exist as a hard copy. What you see here is the work of somebody through Photoshop. What you see here is the work of somebody through Photoshop. Now, yesterday, we also had this story. From Equinox Television. Now, Equinox Television was reporting
in the Buyo division.
Equinox Television was reporting
Cameroon. It is
that
6 p.m. at the center of the city of Douala.
Equinox Television was reporting that the Swiss government and the NGO, the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, they have abandoned, they have withdrawn from the Swiss initiative. Now, this didn't only come, it didn't only come from these two sources. It came from other social media activists. I mean, the information about the abandonment of the Swiss initiative by the Swiss government and the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue. It came, the information originated from some activists on the social media. And then the same activists concocted that so-called Africa Intelligence news article. And then it was so shocking that Equinox Television, a channel that many of us have come to respect, ran with an unverifiable story, and quoted the Swiss government, and quoted urged thee of having abandoned the Swiss dialogue initiative. They stated that the Equinox Television stated that the Swiss government has decided to withdraw from the mediation because of irreconcilable differences from the Cameroon government, the French Cameroon government, and the Ambazonian independent leaders. And they added that also because of the refusal by both parties, the French Cameroon government and Ambazonian independent movement, the refusal to lay down their arms. ladies and gentlemen, I come to tell you that nothing can be farther from the truth. That story, again, was another concoction, fabrication, and it is very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing that Equinox Television, the news team in that place. Come on. How does a news team run with a newspaper story that doesn't even have a byline? What journalism are you doing? How do you go and repeat word for word a story in a concocted newspaper that has no byline? So, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to rest assured. Nothing like the Swiss have abandoned the talks. HD has abandoned the talks. Exists. Nothing exists like that. The negotiation is on course. There is focus. The Ambazonian leaders are preparing for it. I'm referring to the acting Ambazonia coalition team. They are working hard on a weekly basis, having meetings on a weekly basis and debating and discussing the way forward. They are communicating with the Swiss and communicating with the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue. Before I came to you live today, I had to call HD just to be sure. Of course, I knew that story was a fabrication, but just to be double sure, I had to call them to say, hey, have you seen this story that is making rounds in the social media? And they sent a message to me. Let me read the message that was sent to me today from the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue. Let me read what was sent, what was forwarded to me from Alex Liberskin or something like that. Liberskin, who is the director of HD for Africa. This is what he wrote. Hello, Chris. And again, now I'm quoting him now. He said, hello, Chris. And again, sorry for the belated reply. This is fake news. Again, this is coming from HD. He said, this is fake news. Switzerland and HD are still committed to facilitate negotiations with the parties to the conflict. Again, this was sent to me this morning from HD. He says, he ended by saying, spoilers at work. Spoilers at work. Now, but they did not only send this note to me, they went on to Twitter and they put this on Twitter. They said, this is what they said. The center, ladies and gentlemen, the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue remains at the disposal. They remain at the disposal of the Swiss mediation and the parties to contribute to the peaceful settlement of the crisis in the Anglophone regions. All other information is incorrect. I hope you got that. Now that was from HD. Now a statement also from the Swiss government said this also on Twitter. They said, and I quote, Switzerland remains at the disposal of the parties to contribute to the peaceful settlement of the crisis in the northwest, and the southwest of Cameroon. In the southwest of Cameroon. All other information is incorrect. Switzerland's commitment is motivated by humanitarian considerations. Switzerland's commitment is motivated by humanitarian considerations, not by political considerations or military contributions or combat considerations. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I have to say to you. All of you Ambazonians out there. This is very, very, very important. We have enablers. We have detractors. And you will be surprised to note that many of these people, especially as concerns this story of the cancellation or abandonment of the Swiss talks, this story is being merchandised by people who claim to be among us. We have seen some fellow, a little irrelevant fellow who does, they call it Rebel TV, or what do they call it? He goes online and fabricate these stories and churn them out, hoping that people believe. This is what I want to say, ladies and gentlemen. We know every activist out there, and I will name them. Every activist out there who is in the habit of churning out lies and fabrications to our people. We must shun them. We must shun them. Our people are dying from bullets, and they must not also die from depression and discouragement coming from people with an agenda to sell us back to French Cameroon. And so such people, I am talking of people like Tapang Ivo, you got to cut them off. Nothing coming from them should remain, should stay in your forum, or should make rounds in any forum. People like Tato, cut them off. Nothing coming from them should enter or penetrate any forum. People like Barita, people like Capo, cut them off. Nothing coming from them should go to the next forum or to the next individuals. And let me be honest to you, I find you sending me anything, I don't care how good, from them, I just cut it off. That's what we should be doing now. We cannot allow enablers, federalists, who claim to be us. They claim to be Ambazonians. They claim to be singing the same song with us, the song of independence, and yet they go out and they churn these fabrications, promote these fabrications, churn out Photoshop article stories, and they put out and they go out and they promote it, and they keep on telling you, and of course John Baakuro is one. Let us avoid all these enablers. Avoid anything coming from them. Do not help them by promoting, by circulating the nonsense, the trash, the fabrications that they put out there. We must put an end to them. You in the diaspora may be intelligent. You in the diaspora may be intelligent to know what is fabrication and what is genuine. But I can assure you, because I am at the receiving end, I receive the messages, I receive the phone calls from ground one, from ground zero. Many people, because they don't have the internet we have at our disposal, they are not able to tell what is truth and what is fabrication. And so the best way to do away with fabrications and enablers is to make sure that everything they send out remains with them. They send it to you. Do what the Christians call sending back to the sender. Sending back to the sender. Anything coming from Capo, from Tato, from Tapan, from Akuro, all of them, you know them. Please send it back. Return it to the senders. Return it to the senders. And stop patronizing them. Watching the trash that they produce online called shows, where they go and buy. I don't know. These guys, they have no shame. They have no shame. You go and remove money and you buy views for people to watch you, for you to churn out fabrications and lies. Ladies and gentlemen, I have IT knowledge. Let me give you a little secret here. I give you a little secret. This is not something I plan to say, but this is improvising. Let me give you a little secret how you know that Facebook views are bought and paid for. When you see somebody having 2,000 views or 1,000 views in 1 minute, and there are only 2 shares, and there are only 2 comments, that is a pointer that those are not real views. What you see there on your screen as views on those shows are robots. Robots, they call it bots, B-O-T-S, bots. They are bought and paid for, and Facebook forces them on those shows. Those bots cannot make comments. Those bots cannot hit the share button. That is how you know those are bought views. I give you another good example. Now we have about maybe about 1,300 or close to 1,300 views, live views on this show right now on Facebook as I speak. By the time I get out of this platform, by the time I get off live, observe the overview, the total number of views by the time I am out of here. You realize close to between 15 to 20,000, between 15 to 20,000 would have already watched this show. Go back to this gentleman who buys views. He tells you he has 16,000 watching. But watch how many views he has by the time he drops the microphone, he shuts down the camera, and the show is over. He still has 6,000 or 5,000 or 7,000 views. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you know the difference between bot viewers, live viewers, and real viewers. But this is the point. This is the point. What they are trying to do by buying viewers is so that you think that they are still popular. It's so that you think that, oh, let me still listen to them. People are still listening to them. Nobody is listening to them. They are just craftily trying to draw your attention to listen to them. Let's not fall into that trap. It is cooked up. It is fabricated. They are paid views. And please, let us boycott everything coming from enablers who do not stand on our side. It will surprise you to note. It will surprise you to know that some of the people lobbying, working with Naomi Sachs and Janet Yaruhude in Ms. Karim's office are some of these activists who are working in that office to force a federal agenda on Ambazonians. These are the same people on the social media trying to make you to believe they are part of us. They are not part of us, and we must distance ourselves from everything that they do. Do not share anything from them. Do not share anything. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care how good it looks. Until they come to repentance, until they prove their turnaround, we are not, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to work with enablers. And so, going forward, as far as any piece of information is concerned, I want to say to you, especially all of you on ground zero, if you do not hear a piece of news, a piece of information from the interim government, from an official release from the ARC team, Ambazonia coalition team, if you do not hear from them, know that anything out there is an allegation. Unless it comes from us, then you can take it to the bank. Until then, we ask you once more, disregard any piece of fabrication. I do not know what these people gain if we lose this struggle to French Cameroon. I don't know what they gain. And yet they pretend to be with us. They pretend to be on our side. But they are the ones propagating false information, false messages. Stand up, open your eyes. Boycott anything coming from these axis of people that are just named here. They are dangerous, evil, satanic to this revolution. And I will never mince words calling them out. So please, let's remain focused. Let's remain steadfast. Let's remain focused. I will open the lines for any phone call, for any suggestion that you may want to bring in here today. I will open the lines. If you have a question, a suggestion to bring in, please feel free to call. So please go ahead and call. Some of you have the number already. Go ahead and make the phone call. Okay, I think I have the first call from Ambazonia. Let me see. All right. Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Secretary Chris.
Yes, sir. May I know where you're calling in from? You are live on ABC.
Yes, I'm calling from the Meme County.
Thank you, sir. What contribution do you have today?
Okay, this time around, I would like to speak in our normal local parlance, that's the beginning.
That is okay.
Okay, so, Secretary Chris, I thank you very much. I want to talk to you for pidgin so that our fellow Ambazonians go here.
All right.
Yes, we thank you plenty for all these updates because it really helped me so that we go know where we go. And those enablers, we don't call them like the irritators, all the names they don't call them. We know them here for ground zero. And we did do everything for system to avoid them. Yes, operation around here, Tabotando, in a they work with irritator and the others for say the people bring down this revolution. But I want to assure every Ambazonia, what I did on both sides, say this struggle that God is making. That is why that thing where they try for who can inside Karimbasi office, God, he don't expose them. Slowly but surely, God will lead me towards the end of our struggle. And those enablers, they will regret why they do those things, no matter which way they dinner. So I give you the courage, and I thank our FACO restoration forces where they don't come back because place we don't call it. We just be like say the struggle they almost die. But when I be young, they send me the photos. I was very happy. And I give them 100% photos. And I tell the one day for my message, make them to go wake up. And all over make them go wake up. So make God he will continue to bless you 1 million times. So make you continue, God he will see us.
Thank you. Thank you for the call. God bless. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that piece of information is very, very critical. On ground zero, let the information go around that nothing from Tapang Ivo, nothing from Capo Daniel, nothing from Tato, nothing from Akuro should be allowed to settle in any forum. We don't want people that all they know is to pass out fabricated information. Keep them out of the forum. Let there be an operation, keep them out. Operation kick them out. Operation kick them out of every social media platform. If they are your friends on the social media, defriend them, unfriend them. On WhatsApp, unfriend them. Facebook, unfriend them. Twitter, unfriend them. Let them have nowhere to send their trash. Thank you. All right, I'll get the next caller. Hello, sir.
This is you and calling from Los Angeles.
Thank you for the call, sir. What is the contribution?
Yes, my contribution is that I'm very happy that you've advised us to boycott those enablers. Those guys that you've called there, I don't think we doubt them because for the past 8 months they have been fighting, but us, not fighting the Republic. They have not even come out with any warning sign to show that the Republic is going to attack our people. And you see, they are the first to be jubilating whenever there is anything like a rumor that the struggle is not moving forward. They are the first to come and begin to celebrate. So it is time we have to boycott all these people that you've called them, all of them together. There are some other leaders as well. And we have forgotten about Ayuk Tabe because he was long impeached long ago. Ambazonia should remain focused. I want to call on all the fighters on ground zero, be you fighting for ADF and whosoever, that the guarantee for you to remain alive means that you have to join your county and fight and send out La Republic. We are not fighting to liberate Ayaba. We are not fighting to liberate an individual. We are fighting to liberate all of Ambazonia. It is high time all of these people should remain focused. They understand that they are being killed by La Republic military because the military is paying allegiance to Port Bia, not to La Republic. Therefore, we don't want any military in Ambazonia to pay allegiance to any individual.
All right.
From the flag, thank you.
Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. And let me add that another sign for enablers is when you hear them say, I respect the flag, I don't respect any institution, I don't respect any leader, but I honor the flag. Those are enablers. Those are enablers. There can be no flag without institutions and without leaders, ladies and gentlemen. When we hear somebody say, all I have is respect for the flag, those are detractors, those are enablers. Cut them off. All right, let me go to the next caller. All right, I'd like to get more calls from ground zero. Hello, sir.
Hello, my able secretary.
Yes, sir. May I know where you're calling in from, please?
I'm at the call from ground zero. I don't want to talk for English. At the call from ground zero.
All right, that is okay. What is the contribution?
Yes, my contribution now say I want to make you know, say I will name these people the way that name them. I will still repeat them, name them.
Yes, everybody, yes. Every Ambazonian, put them out there and let everybody cut them off. Operation cut off.
I will name them now, Chris. Make you know we will work for inside the lion is dead, and most of them don't be corrupt. Way for go for front no day and for come for back no day. Number one, na Tapang Aibo. Number two, Success Congo. Would call any man in name now? Would call any man in name because our brother they died. They never see anything. Number three, Eric Tato. Number four, Mark Barada, Capo Daniel. Now people in this way they want to destroy this revolution. And if this thing fail, for brother then will mommy then will sister then will they not die. They will not go ever their blood will go on top their family because wait the way they do them, we would see them here. Would they inside the government for go for front no day, for come for back no day, and we are watching what they are playing. We know it, and they will suffer and pay the price.
Thank you. All right. I hope they are listening. I hope they're listening. Let me go to the next caller. Good. I'd like to get this call from ground zero. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from ground zero.
What county?
Okay.
Which county?
Hello?
Yes, please. What county are you calling from?
I'm calling from ground zero.
Which county? Fako
County.
All right. What is your contribution, sir?
Yeah, thank you, able secretary. I would like to talk in our official language that everybody will want to listen.
Okay. Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. This enabler that you call, this enabler wanna call him, say Eric Tato. Where anytime you all come for she don't call Sako, that very Karimbasi office way, if you go to every day, now that very Karimbasi office the right federal constitution. When the Eric Tato don't talk about that very office way, you go to the right federal constitution now for Ambazonians, where every day the question of Dr. Sako.
Yeah, that's a good question. But don't forget that he is don't forget that he is a member of BAS, and BAS is one of the groups lobbying that office for a federal bill for on Ambazonia.
Yes, I know that one. I know that one because the BAS leader became talking for America.
Right.
Yes, I know that one. What did he talk? He just don't quite know the monkey. We wait them for ground zero. Me then come, we wait them.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the call. All right. Okay. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
You are live on ABC, sir. Where are you calling from?
Okay. I'm calling from the Netherlands. Thank you very much for taking my call, able Secretary Chris.
Thank you. What is your contribution?
Yeah, we are watching. We are here in the Netherlands. We are listening. We follow you carefully, and we have realized that all the people you have named today. It is. We are so happy. We are so happy that you named them, and we agree. We agree with you on every point.
Thank you.
I want to touch on a different level, on the spirituality aspect of this struggle.
Okay, briefly.
We are on the winning side, because if you look all over the whole world, the energies of the evil forces are dying out gradually. You
Absolutely.
See, even in America, President Trump is fighting them. We on ground zero, I mean, we in Ambazonia, we are still fighting this cabal. It's all the same kind of thing, but we are winning. They are being exposed.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Everybody is being exposed. Everybody all the enablers, by the grace of God, they are all being exposed by themselves now. We are not even doing. Everybody who is on the wrong side of this struggle is being exposed.
Thank you. We will keep on exposing them.
Yeah, the good forces are with us, the light forces. So we are winning this battle spiritually also.
Yes, the sensitization must go on until all of them are kicked off. Unfriend them from every social media platform. Unfriend them, kick them out. All right, thanks for the call.
Thank you very much, Secretary. Please.
All right. Hello, from ground one. Hello, sir.
Yes. This is David.
Okay, David, thanks for the call. What is your message, sir? David, I'm sorry you have a bad connection. I think your network has issues. Let me go on to the next caller. Hello. Please, when you call, turn down the volume of your set. When you call, turn down the volume of your set and focus on your phone. Hello.
Hello, Secretary.
Good evening, sir. I guess you are calling somewhere from Europe?
Yes, sir. I just want to ask you one simple question. The group, our frontline, the leaders for our independence, are they still open to enablers? Because those who will be coming in now in that group, I know that those were the same people who were for the dialogue in La Republique. Now that the Swiss talk is taking grounds, the whole world is focused. We are all focused on the Swiss talk. They will start trying to come back into the fold. Is it?
What I can say to you is that any group joining the ARC is being voted very, very, very severely voted, and you can trust that anybody who disagrees with ARC will not be part of ARC. So that's what I can tell you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Thank you for the call. And again, it is important, ladies and gentlemen, that I add that not only is the Swiss government, strongly standing for this mediation initiative, and of course the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, the international community continues to say the only thing that will satisfy them as a solution to this conflict is that same Swiss mediation. The Americans have said they stand for the Swiss initiative. The Canadians, the EU, European Union, the USA in particular, the British have said it. They continue, the Belgians, the international community continue to insist nothing but the Swiss negotiation will satisfy them. In other words, you can go out and fabricate any lies, and La République du Cameroon can go out and hold 1,001 grand national dialogues. That is not going to assuage the wrath of the international community until they get what they want. An unconditional dialogue in Switzerland mediated by the Swiss. So international support is still, in fact, it is only increasing for the Swiss initiative. All right, I'll take a few more calls before I leave. All right. Hello, sir. Please, if you're calling, turn down the volume of your set. Can you turn down the volume of your set, please? Please, when you call, if you don't turn down the volume of your set, I can't take your call. All right. Hello, sir.
Good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ground Zero, precisely from the Manu County.
Manu County, the Yankwe, and Basanjo, or what do you call it? County.
Manu, the Bayangilan.
Yes, the Ikwe land now.
There is a land of Ekpe on Basanjo.
Yeah, Basanjo, yeah. How is Manfi today?
Yes, I'll talk for pigeon.
All right.
No, Manfi is okay. I have a particular problem that I want to lay down.
All right.
Yes, you don't mention Eric Tato. Today on the same Manu. Same Manu they down. Manu need to work. The main man with the cause that problem. Eric Tato and Nkongo success.
Okay.
Those people, any man with get any connection with them, from Manu we call me leave them. You don't feel say don't run man fee, we don't run man, you carry family go down for America, you know ever come back. The small allied group we open up for can them see me they mix more Amber group, Derek them and the rest are no other name them. So one run that die or who's that day today? Because they really want listen to it as a head, he want being at the head, idele ayaba. If no naive be the big man, they mean all things spoil. All division where they happen, contribution need to come. I tell you so. I get a reliable source.
Yes, I have received quite a number of calls from Manfe, from our forces saying they don't have support, they lack support. Yet I hear people from Manu. Manu, that is the birthplace of resistance in this struggle. It is sad what is going on there, and all that their elders out here do best is to bring in division in their county is crumbling. It's very, very, very sad.
Yes.
Very, very sad. I have received calls upon calls from Manu, from the restoration forces saying they need help, they need support. Nobody is supporting them.
Yes.
Yet these guys are out here. Yes, go ahead.
This revolution, the key for this revolution, Manu, strategically and geographically in Manu, ask even fighters from Bali, from Libya, Lem, from they must pass na through manual for getting materials.
Correct.
Other fighters they get materials we pass na through manual. But we only get our own because we even the two Allah say diaspora they send money. Now say we reach for the people that hand them, they hold them, they block them. You need reach for the fighters.
All
so
right.
That is a problem.
All right. I hope that our manual patriots, I mean the real patriots who are out here listening to you, calling for Manu.
Yes.
And I hope that they stand up.
Another one woman for Ecom Day. Another one woman for Ecom. All that money, I will get the name, I will get the full name, send her for you. Me
Okay.
send her out for these people where they for diaspora when I'm Manu people.
What is a woman doing? What is a woman doing?
They just like this small liaison. They when they send money, me pan Aqua Abuno them, Aqua Abuno, Rosa Abuno's junior brother.
Okay.
He did for Calabar. Now them they chop all that money. Now they make money they down so. As they tell you so, secretary.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for the call.
Yes.
All right. I will take one last call, and we'll call it a day. Hello, sir. Calling from Ground 1.